Hi everyone, welcome to the 19th edition of Nakshebaazi. Today I am planning to introduce you to the Gunpowder Empires. These are three massive powers which were present between 16th to 18th century. And they dominated the land right from Mediterranean, northern Africa to Bengal. Right, this entire land was, dominated by these three contiguous empires. So we will look at their achievements. We will look at some of the other interesting details about them. Right, the three empires that I'm talking about are these three. Right, this is the Ottoman Empire. This is the Ottoman Empire. Do you notice they have gone well inside Eastern Europe? Entire Greece, Constantinople, all that gone. Gone from Christian stronghold. Northern Africa taken away. Right? Mecca, Medina, all under their control. They are kind of the traditional leaders of the Islamic world. They are the guardians of two holy mosques. Just next of them, the Safavids, right? And next to them are the massive Mughal Empire, right? These are the three powers that I intend to discuss with you guys, and we will speak about how things moved and what kind of implications there were. It's a beautiful map, I'm sure you would agree, right? This is maparchive.com. Lovely place to get maps. Lovely place to get maps, undoubtedly. From Central Europe, do you notice they are controlling Hungary and all, right? Hungary as well. From Central Europe and North Africa in the west to Bangladesh and Myanmar in the east. This is all under these three gunpowder empires. Under their massive patronage. In the wake of their patronage, we notice significant rise in per capita income and population in the region. Technological innovations are also noticeable. Although I must tell you that in the second half of the 18th century, they started falling behind the European technological innovation in field of military arms and military tactics. They started failing sharply, all three of them. Right? So these guys, right, we notice a lot of prosperity. We notice a lot of lavish architecture, construction, and trade activities as well. Massive trading is also going on. These three are known as gunpowder empires. Why? Because this phase of history, we notice newly invented firearms, especially cannons and small arms emerge, which use gunpowder extensively. And this technological innovation, only some people can have huge, iron and all these raw materials, gunpowder, etc. So people who can manage it will have huge armies, centralized monarchical states will emerge. कोई भी technological innovation जब होती है, it will have repercussion for military. Initially when elephants were used, Magad came up as a centralized state. Iron came in, Mauryans emerged, right? Such things do happen. Such things do happen. Same is the case here. We notice centralized monarchical states because of these innovation. And these changes, they went beyond military organization as well, as I was telling you. Per capita income is rising, art and culture is being patronized, lavish architecture is being introduced throughout the land, taking them one by one. The Mughal, this is the Mughal flag, This is the imperial emblem of the Mughals. The Mughals somewhere inherited the Timurid Renaissance. They inherited the Timurid Renaissance, right? Which Timur had started in Samarkand and Herat. So that tradition, that legacy was carried forward by lavish architecture of Mughals, right? They heralded proto-industrialization in Bengal. All the recent studies are clearly saying that by 18th century, when Britishers started getting really active here in Battle of Plassey, Buxar and all, they de-industrialized us. Because at that point of time, in 1707, we were a very, very vastly industrialized country in, according to those definitions, contemporary definitions. There were many artisans and, the skill of Indian handicraftsmen. It had a sark. It had a rutba across the globe. They de-industrialized us. There was an element of proto-industrialization emerging. A banking system was evolving. If left to our own selves, maybe India would have seen a much more organic and natural industrialization rather than the one which we are facing right now. The Mughals, in their wake, they brought so many innovations to India, right? Screw was introduced into the subcontinent. Before the Mughals, we were using only rivets. Rivets are like simply punching nails. Not very handy. Especially in cannons. It can be problematic. Because then your iron, the entire, cannon will heat up very fast. Screws are easy to manage. Mughals got, screws into our society. Similarly, they started the concept of metal plating, right? So to avoid corrosion, to avoid food, to avoid metal poisoning of the food. So metal plating was introduced. Similarly, gear mechanism. Gears were, unknown to the subcontinent. It's the Mughals who introduced it. We hear of Persian wheel called as Sakya or Rehat or Tabliya. Right? Persian wheel, which was a water lifting device using a gear. Using a gear, the action of the bullock, horizontal, was made into a vertical action using gears. It's called as Sakya. So the gear mechanism was also introduced here through Mughals. Not only this, this is Fateh-ullah Shirazi, a Persian polymath who left the Safavid Empire, and instead came under the patronage of the Mughals during Akbar. Right here you see Akbar with Shirazi. Akbar used to call him Azudud Dawla, which means the arm of the empire. He was a polymath. He was a mathematician. He was a civil engineer. He was a revenue expert. So this Shirazi guy, he came up with the Gaz-e-Ilahi. Gaz-e-Ilahi, which was used in the entire Dehsala system and Zabti system. He was a Persian. Not only this fellow, because Akbar realized that Hijri era, the Islamic calendar, is not suitable for Bengal harvesting cycle. So he asked Shirazi to come up with a solution, and Shirazi combined the Islamic era, Hijri era calendar, and combined it with the Bengal harvesting calendar. And Shirazi is considered as the founder of Bengal calendar, modern Bengali calendar. How fascinating, isn't it? How fascinating. That's Shirazi. So the Mughals, they had somewhere some very interesting contribution to our technological history. Looking at the Safavid, look at their emblem. Interesting, isn't it? A lion, graceful lion, angry lion, holding a sword with the rising sun. Sun is very important. Remember Zoroastrian influence right there. Right? The Safavids, they created an efficient and modern state administration inside Iran. And they were huge patrons of fine arts. Huge patrons of fine arts. The Safavids. Right? Last of them, but definitely not the least, the Ottoman Turks. These guys will stay with us till First World War. Massive people. They are Turks who have migrated towards Anatolia. Right? So they are Central Asian people. One of their leader was Osman, and from there the name became anglicized and became Ottoman. This is their flag, and this is their coat of arms in 19th century. That means this, initially they must have had some other coat of arms or emblem. This is a later one, right? So interesting, very fascinating. I liked it, right? Very aesthetically designed. See, tarazu hai on books and all. Interesting. Fair. So this Ottoman Turks, they are the third piece of the puzzle, guys. They are the third piece of the puzzle. They were able to gradually grow. From 1299, they gradually grew at the expense of the Byzantine Empire. And by 1450s, they managed to capture Constantinople and entered into Eastern Europe. They became known as Kaysar-e-Rum. This area was known as Rum, Kaysar-e-Rum, right? And this will have massive implication. This will have massive implication. This is the fellow, Mehmed II. Right? He is the one who conquered Constantinople in 1453. And by this, he changed the dynamics. Constantinople connected Asia Minor with Eastern Europe. It was the center of Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantine. It was the capital. They captured it, renamed it Istanbul. Right? This is, look at the hat, man. Look at the hat. I mean, this is magnificent. And the king's name as well. Suleiman the Magnificent. He is considered as the most wonderful of all Ottoman rulers. Rules for almost 50 years, a contemporary of Akbar. A contemporary of Akbar. Right? Under his rule, the Ottoman navy, it dominated the sea from Mediterranean. So they dominated Mediterranean, especially the Eastern Mediterranean and the Southern Mediterranean. They dominated Red Sea. Do you realize the implication of it? Do you realize the implication of it? Do you now realize the implication of it? This is Constantinople. They captured it. They captured Hungary. This region, they all became their vassals. The entire Christendom, plus they are also here. The entire Christendom was worried. And in this desperate situation, because the Ottoman Turks, do you notice what they have done? They have now monopolized all the trade between West and all the trade which can happen between India. They have monopolized it. Ya to yahan se jaoge, ya to yahan se jaoge, both ways. It is us who will take you through. And this is why the Iberians, took the lead. They wanted to hunt down another way to reach India so that they can, also enter the Indian Ocean directly. Because they also wanted to make profits here. And these Ottomans, right, they had Renaissance and all. I will not talk about it in this class. But yes, this is how things seems to be moving. And it is in this context that, our very own Vasco da Gama moves across the Cape of Good Hope and via Madagascar reaches Calicut. And that takes us to the modern phase of our history. Right? So, keeping that in mind, I'll see you around, okay? Have fun and take care. Bye-bye.